You are tuned into the Failing Frequency. I am Ethan.
And I'm Mike.
And we like talking about Star Trek.
We do indeed. And what Trek are we talking about this week?
Not a lot of Trek. We got some real life first contact evidence to go over. We got some a little bit of a preview of shenanigans to come for New York Comic Con. We've got a little taster of, a little morsel of an old friend. And then we'll be talking about this week's episode of Strange New Worlds. Something borrowed, something green. And
something stolen, something green.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's all.
You did very well. You got
75%
of the words right.
Son of a whatever. Yeah. And then we'll end things off with this week's episode of very short treks, which is also heavily centered around something green.
Yep. And there's time codes for all that in the below, of course.
Yes. Yeah. Down in my underpants. But before we get into any of that, man, how you doing?
I'm good. I stopped doing work less than an hour ago, so I'm in a long day at the moment. So I'm fairly chill. I'm just trying to chill and go along, and very happy that I've got my beer next to me. How about yourself? How's fatherhood treating you still?
Great. Poop, sick, squealing, squiggling.
And what about the baby?
The baby's fine.
Yeah.
The baby. I was telling Mike before we started recording. We're starting to realize that the baby, little Peanut, is like weirdly strong for a 12-day-old baby. Generally speaking, 12-day-old babies aren't supposed to be able to lift their own head up, or like do push-ups, or like almost crawl. But our baby can do all that. And yesterday, she was like crying about something, and I was like bouncing her, trying to chill her out, and she punched me in the face.
You need to, start fostering that talent and get her a bench press or, one of those boxing things.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, this is a, weirdly jacked baby. That's why among her many nicknames, we're now starting to call her Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. From Flintstones.
Bam Bam. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's all good. All good in the oxytocin bubble. The house is a shithole. The house is a shit. Because we're doing a lot of we're doing co-sleeping. We're doing a lot of holding of the baby. Like, we have this fucking Moses basket thing here. It barely gets used because one of us is constantly holding the baby. So it's just the other one doing something.
Yeah.
And then immediately tiring out, and then we just sit and watch The Americans.
That's fair enough. Sounds like adulthood to me.
Yeah, man.
Getting tired and just passing out in front of the TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. But should we move on to the news anyway?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about Star Trek stuff. Star Trek news is getting getting lighter and lighter. I wonder if any industry events have got anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got New York Comic Con coming up on October the 12th October the 12th to the 15th in New York City. New York, will be the New York Comic Con. And Paramount Plus and Star Trek are going to be there. And they have announced that there will be a special advanced screening of an all-new episode from the current season of Paramount Plus's original animated comedy series, Star Trek Lower Decks, which by that date will be probably like the eighth or ninth, maybe
7 or 8, isn't it? Yeah,
something like that. Plus, and this is the exciting part, and you know it's exciting because they say it is.
Yeah.
Plus, more exciting reveals and surprises for Star Trek fans in attendance. My question is it pins?
Probably. That's what the last Comic-Con wasn't it? That was Vegas, or was that was Star Trek Vegas or whatever.
Yeah.
But what else can they announce?
San Diego.
Considering Legacy can't be on the started yet, or they can't sign off on Legacy with the strikes on. There's the Section 21 movie, which probably won't ever happen still. The Academy series, which can't be cast while the strike's on. They could show another trailer for Discovery Season 5, but I don't think that's I don't think that's necessarily exciting, you know.
Would that be exciting, though?
No. Maybe another thing for Prodigy, or Prodigy news on where the fuck it's going.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Some guy from marketing.
Yeah. So, the whole marketing team on stage.
Yeah. Oh, maybe the return of Jill from accounts.
Yeah.
Oh man, this strike. So there's going to be like photo opportunities. So presumably you'll be able to take the helm of the captain's chair again.
Yeah, that they had wrong last time.
Yeah. Like I say, you know, if you're a regular convention goer, or maybe even like an amusement park aficionado, and you're looking at your backpack and you're thinking, start to get a bit light on pins.
Could use some extra pins. I'm sure they'll have a load left over.
Yeah, man. Oh man! Oh my God! I went to New York Comic Con, and they had a bunch of Star Trek Las Vegas pins.
Yeah, you laugh, but they have done that at cons I've gone to before, where I can't remember what year it was, because we're around 57 years, something like that, of Star Trek, something like that. Maybe it's 60 something, whatever now. And they were still handing out Star Trek's 50th year convention stickers and badges and stuff like that at the con. And I was like, this
legacy.
Why? These aren't collector's items.
You can't give this shit away. It's legacy. It's vintage at that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. Remember Roxann Dawson?
I do. B'Elanna from Voyager.
B'Elanna Torres. Banana Torres. So, interestingly enough, like a lot of Star Trek cast members, Roxann Dawson would go on to direct a bunch of Star Trek. She directed a couple episodes of Voyager, I believe. She directed like one episode of Enterprise a year. She's not done any new Trek, but me and my partner, we've been watching The Americans. She did a couple of episodes of The Americans, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
But recently she's also done a bit of directing on Foundation. Have you watched Foundation?
Good. I watched season 1. I haven't caught season 2 yet.
Man, I'll tell you what, right? We'll get into it.
It's a good-looking show. It's a cheap but good-looking show.
See, I don't think it even looks cheap.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't look cheap, but it's made on a budget of something like 40 million. Whereas, Secret War was made for 200 million or something like that. So 5 times the expense. And it's like, okay, right.
It's crazy. It's such a big show. And season 2, I was a bit meh, but it got pretty good. And it ended, it had a big finish at the end of the series. So Roxann Dawson recently did an interview for Slash Film, where she talked about, whether or not she would come back to direct a little bit of that new Trek, a little bit of that NU-Trek. She said, I've thought about it, and they've kindly also come to me with a few of the shows, but I think at the time they were starting to come out, I hadn't done science fiction in a while, and I was trying to move away from that. I didn't feel a need to go back. And then this science fiction show came up, so this was the first science fiction that I'd done in a while. And that's true. She's not done science fiction in a while, but she did do her recent cinematic debut. She did a film. It looks like, to put it mildly, a bag of shit. I don't know if you know this, but Roxann Dawson, as well as being a bit of a weird conservative, is a massive Catholic.
Yeah.
And
she didn't do one of the Dean Canes or one of those stupid films, did she?
No, she did a film. Basically, she did some fucking Christian movie about a person who had a near-death experience.
Okay.
And yeah, whatever. I think it's very interesting that someone who is such a staunch theist would find enjoyment in directing something like Foundation, which is highly critical of religion.
I think she also enjoys money.
She does.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if the Star Trek approaching her wasn't exactly true as well.
But yeah, like, especially season 2 of Foundation, like, there's a lot of discussion about sort of using the methods and the sort of trappings of religious indoctrination to further the cause of the Foundation.
Yeah.
In that show, and it's just, I tell you what, man, there is something to be said about the cognitive dissonance of a good theist to be able to hold one idea in the head and then also work quite successfully with the complete opposite idea and be like, that's fine.
Yeah. I just think it's incredible. You look at a lot of the casts of Star Trek series, and, we don't know that much about Enterprise because they are blank slates inside and outside of the show. But,
hey,
TNG...
You can't say that. Fucking
I can.
Reed, you look at a man with that trucker hat, and that goatee and that wallet chain, and you just think that guy's got a story. Yeah,
but you look at like the TNG crew or the DS9 people, and none of them are like weirdly conservative or anything like that, as far as I know. Whereas Voyager just seems to be like, oh, no, we had one cast member that we had to get rid of because they were constantly doing drugs. We've got Roxann Dawson, is a back the blue conservative. We've got Robert Beltran, who also sticks his foot in his mouth with his conservatism highly. It's very strange.
Kate Mulgrew's a pro-lifer.
Yeah. And, that set had her pissing everyone off because she didn't like Jerry Ryan at all. We had Icheb, who, is a bit of a weirdo.
A menace.
Yeah. a menace who deserved to have his eye pulled out, really. It's very weird to me that what happened with the casting of Voyager, where they were just like, no, we anyone, come on, please.
Yeah. Interesting little side bit about Foundation. David Goyer, when Goyer approached Roxann Dawson to do some directing on Foundation, Dawson says that, Goya said to her, we're not going to be shooting Trek here. This isn't Star Trek. And Roxann Dawson's like, no, I understand. And then kind of like, but have you actually watched Star Trek? Because it's actually really quite good. Especially now. Like, I like that she's like trying to distance herself from Star Trek a bit, but then someone even like slightly says anything bad about Star Trek and she's like...
Yeah. But Frakes has talked about the difference of directing, Star Trek when Roxann Dawson directed Star Trek and the difference of directing it now. Star Trek back in the day, when you had to film 26 episodes in a year, it was shot. There's no lighting on that show that has, everyone's face is exactly the same lighting, whatever scene they're in. It is fully lit. There's not one side of them. No one has this sort of shading on them.
No.
Everyone is just like, it's all whoosh,
blasted
light
with
everywhere.
Light. Absolutely blasted with light. The, there's not a lot of cinematography.
No. Cameras are all very fixed.
Yeah.
So you can understand a showrunner being like, well, we'll get you to direct this, but at the same time, you do know the camera needs to move. Mm-hmm. You do know like, we have to have lighting.
You mean you'll let me move the camera?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, and also, it was the 90s. It's easy to forget just how long ago Voyager was made.
Yeah.
And, the difference in equipment and how light equipment is now. Like, you can do a lot with stuff now. Like,
and HDR as well. So, wherever it is, having a very black thing. Oh, that's not going to work. Having a very black thing next to a very light thing, you couldn't previously do. You'd have to have like fairly close greys or stuff would be washed out. The equipment and the whole process has got so much better. And you get a shitload of money to do a whole lot less episodes. So
yeah.
But
yeah, Foundation, very good. Roxann Dawson still looking great. But also weird film. What's that fucking film called? Hold on. Breakthrough. 2019 American Christian drama film directed by Roxann Dawson is based on the Christian book The Impossible, an account of true events written by Joyce Smith and Ginger Kolbaba. The film tells the story of a St. Louis teenager who slipped through an icy lake and was underwater for 15 minutes before resuscitative efforts were started. Although being rescued, he's in a coma and his family must rely on their faith to get through the ordeal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got it, good for you. But personally, for me, I like results. I like testable, verifiable results. I like it when people evaluate evidence, and that is a great segue into the next story, because there's like hardly any Trek this week. I wanted to talk about this because, as anyone who watches the show knows, one of my pet favorite subjects is stupid conspiracy theory bullshit and UFOs. And a couple of weeks ago, Mexico had did their own little hearing, kind of like the Americans have been doing, and it was quite exciting. In the days leading up, France and Japan announced that they were going to be there.
Yeah.
The delegates from around the world are going to come to see what Mexico has to say on the subject of UFOs/UAPs. And I guess with all those delegates, Mexico thought, we really need to put on a show.
We really need to lie. We need our lies to be somewhat impressive.
We need to pull some shit out of our ass. And so everyone's probably seen the story of Jaime Maussan's weird little Cabbage Patch mummies.
Not even. Don't even look anything like a mummy, really. Yeah.
They look, humanoid. They've got they've got a structure. They've been X-rayed. They've got stuff going on inside them. They've got bones, and they do have bones. They do have bones. And this, a lot of people are like, what the fuck is this? What is this stuff? We need to get this shit tested. But it only took literally hours for people online to go, I've seen this guy before. I've seen this guy and his weird little dolls before. So these dolls were purportedly dug up between 2015 and 2017 in Peru. And there is, there's some documentary footage of him talking about it on Gaia. Have you seen adverts for Gaia?
Gaia means Earth. I haven't, thankfully. I don't watch anything that's got adverts.
It's a streaming service for
hippies.
Yeah, well, I would say hippies, but more like, anti-vaxxers who take DMT and think that the New World Order is trying to establish a one world government.
Yeah.
And also like ivermectin and jade eggs up their assholes. Anyway, these little alien dudes don't need to be debunked. These little mummified alien corpses, they don't need to be debunked because guess what, Mike?
What?
They were already debunked in 2021.
Oh no! Who would have thought?
Yes, in 2021, it was determined that the dolls are quite possibly originals in terms of being quite old. But they are. They feature fragments of the brain casing of a llama, as well as human tibia bones, and other things. And so what I think's the fact that they might actually be artifacts, just not alien artifacts.
No.
No. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. But yeah, so this guy has already been debunked a couple of times. Not only was this nonsense debunked in 2021, but have you ever heard of the Nazca mummy from 2017?
It rings a bell, yes.
So the Nazca lines, the big drawings of animals that can only be seen if you're flying above. They're like an ancient artifact. Yeah. They're amazing.
There's some in Scotland, but more recent.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And small.
So there was a mummy found near Nazca in 2017, and this douchebag, Jaime Maussan, immediately started spreading that this mummy is an alien because it has 3 fingers and a big old head. But guess what?
Fake again?
Almost. Not fake. Just a little boy.
Little boy. Okay.
Yeah. Just a
with a man's
mummy.
Head or just a normal head for a...
Just like they did some examinations and they realized that this is just the mummified corpse of an adolescent boy.
What a surprise. What a surprise that this alien isn't actually real,
But that's the thing. This article here describes Jaime Maussan as self-described UFO expert. That's how you become a UFO expert.
Yeah.
You make a lot of wild claims You travel around the world. You alienate your entire family.
You alienate them.
You make it so no one wants to hang out with you. And you just say loads of bullshit. And then if any of it turns out to be true, then that makes you the guy forever.
Yeah. But how do we know even that it's not the government just telling us that they're fakes and they're actually real? Let's go one conspiracy deeper. Or let's go a conspiracy deeper than that and say, what if they're actually fakes but sent there by the government to make us throw us off, just so when we eventually see a real alien, we'll think it's fake?
Maybe it's go even deeper. Maybe the aliens are coming in and planting fake alien evidence.
Yeah.
To fuck with us.
To get us angry at some certain aliens, so we, start fighting those aliens when we get into space, but not them aliens. Oh my god.
Oh man. They want us confused. And Jaime Maussan is confused.
Yeah.
So Jaime Maussan is a Mexican man, and he presented this at a Mexican UFO hearing. But these artifacts are from Peru.
But how did he get them?
That's a good question. In fact, that is the question that the Peruvian government would like the answer to.
Yeah.
Because they are like, regardless of whether or not these are aliens, if these are artifacts found in Peru, why don't we know about them? And how did you get them out of Peru? And can we have them back?
Yeah.
And so Peru has launched a criminal probe into how alleged non-human alien corpses that were displayed to the Mexican Congress were taken out of the country.
Terrible. Who would have thought that just pretending to have aliens would lead to so much trouble for you?
Independent UK reports, Culture Minister Leslie Urtuega said they were looking into how the pre-Hispanic bodies left Peru, adding that a criminal complaint has been filed against Mr. Maussan. Mr. Maussan, 70, insists he is innocent. I am not worried. I have done absolutely nothing illegal.
Other than lie.
Other than lie.
And steal artifacts.
Yeah. Fun.
Fun. Stupid fucking things.
Yeah, man.
Right, let's talk about a bloody episode. I'm tired of bloody alien conspiracies. This isn't the X-Files. This is real life.
Yeah, man. This is, let's talk about real life. Star Trek.
Star Trek. An episode of Star Trek. The real life. Yeah. Should we talk about episode 4 of season 4? I think it is 404.
4x4.
Something stolen, something green. We'll do non-spoilers and then spoilers as per usual. What did you think of the episode, non-spoilery?
It was all right.
Yeah.
We got nice. I like learning more about the Orions. I like getting a little window into their society. Definitely interested to see how this little slice of life of Orion culture would translate to a live action depiction.
I don't think it would very well. Which, think of how minimal we've seen of the Orions before. We saw them in Strange New Worlds recently, I suppose, or season 1. But other than that, most fleshed out in Enterprise.
Yeah. Flash being right.
Oh, yes. Oh, very nice.
Fucking telling me.
I thought it was. It's a bit of a flat episode, but it's one of my favorites so far of the season, because although my bugbear is always there's an A plot and there's a B plot and then never the two shall meet. At least the A plot in this focuses on a character that barely gets any attention, rather than just being focused on the two that constantly it's their show. So yeah, I'm on board it for that, and as you say, for the culture stuff with the Orions. And I did laugh on the funniness meter. I did laugh at one point, or more than one point, I would say.
I think I laughed at a couple of bits. Yeah.
Mostly B plot, but yeah, had me laughing.
Yes, I did laugh at the B plot. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Funny voices.
Gets you every time.
Classic.
Every time. But should I do a what's the story, and then we can actually talk about the funny voices and who they were.
Yeah.
So Tendi gets an invite to her sister Erica's wedding. Mariner and Talin tag along to see Orion and observe its cultures. On Orion, Tendi is treated like royalty and finds out her sister has been kidnapped before the wedding, which is an Orion custom, which sets the trio out on a fetch quest to retrieve her. On the fetch quest, they go to an Orion nightclub, where Tendi plays a drinking game to get information, then on to a pheromone sex dungeon, where Tendi uses science to counteract the pheromones, and find out her sister is in a local ship graveyard. In the graveyard, they find Erica, who kidnapped herself as a way to get Tendi to come home. They have a fight, grievances, and make up, with time enough to spare to hotwire the ship and get to the wedding. Meanwhile, on the Cerritos, Rutherford and Boimler have been getting very close and not really fighting until it comes to a bonsai plant. They resolve their differences by cosplaying together as Mark Twain on the holodeck and coming to agreements there. When Captain Freeman and an alien can't agree on who gets to scan a nebula before it disappears, Boimler and Rutherford make them both dress as Mark Twain. Unfortunately, that doesn't work, but it does get the alien eating the bonsai gets it to work. The end.
Yay.
Gets it to work. I'm really summing up these plots with,
You missed something out, and I don't think the other thing that we've not actually talked about this season, which is the show me what you got. The
weird alien craft. Yeah, I spoke about this on the episodes 1 and 2. But yeah, do you want to start off with that, since you haven't had your chance for that?
Yeah. What the fuck what's going on? So like we had Klingons, we've had Romulans. Now we've had Orions. I like it, like they're all starting off with like lower deckers doing, Klingons, classic lower deck stuff, but also like, in the monoculture version of their race. So like the Klingon lower deckers are fighting over everything. The Romulan lower deckers are being sneaky and talking about betraying everyone and who they're going to double cross next. The Orions are talking about stealing shit, stealing ideas.
Yeah,
stealing
theft.
everything.
You wouldn't steal a car.
You wouldn't download IP.
Yeah.
And then this big ass ship,
which constantly flies like this, but then rears up,
and then show me what you got. Pops up and fucking blasts them.
So what do you think it is?
Stuff. I don't know. I think it's interesting that like with the Klingon one, just rocks up, boom. The Romulan one, it could see them. Even though they were cloaked.
When they're cloaked, yeah.
The Orion one, the Orions went up to it. Because they were going to do some pirating.
Yeah, pirate shit.
And then it blasts them.
Yeah. And destroys them all with one hit. goes through shields, that sort of stuff.
But does it, like, it's weird because, like, I did read a theory that it's not actually destroying, it's destroying the ship, but it's maybe not destroying the people.
Could be transporting them, I suppose.
Could be transporting them. We have seen a menagerie already this season in Lower Decks. Could be sucking them in because it's big, and there's apparently only one life form on it. Or maybe it is a life form.
Where do we know there was only one life form from it? I missed that.
The Klingons were like, I can only see one life form aboard.
Ooh, that backs up one of my theories that I've got written in front of me.
Does it? Yeah. But also, like, the Klingons that we saw in that first episode, they were the guys from from we'd already seen them in another episode. Yeah. So it's like, it feels weird to just kill that guy off. You know? So yeah, I don't know. It's obviously going to be the sort of big bad of the end of the season, I guess.
Yeah. So I've had two theories on it, really. One, that it's like the whale probe from Star Trek 4 anyway, and this is the fourth season.
And the season intro.
And the season intro, and the posters are very, Star Trek 4, like the previous posters were Star Trek 3 for the previous season and whatever. So that was theory number one, that it's some sort of, almost benevolence, doesn't know what it's doing. It's it's an advanced civilization that doesn't know what it's doing by destroying the ships, and it's searching, it's a communication beam or something like that. The second theory, which is more of an out there theory, is it's Badwood Boimler, Section 21 Boimler. Dun, dun, dun. Because we know he's out there somewhere.
What's he doing
there? Who knows?
What's he up to?
Yeah.
What's he after? Oh, no. Maybe he's two-vixing them all.
Yeah. I mean, we're just coming up to the Romulan star explosion supernova, so maybe he's heading to. Well, I suppose you'd do the Romulans last then. Maybe he's heading there to destroy their star.
Maybe.
But yeah, I do not know. But they were the two theories that I had. That it's, it's a civilization that doesn't know that they're destroying someone and trying to communicate, or it's Badwood Boimler.
Maybe.
Who had another name, but I can't remember.
Nah, Badwood is fine. I don't know, man. I've not got many theories. I can see like mass death at the scale of which it's being shown, not quite fitting the vibe of Lower Decks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But, hopefully. The only thing I ask of the season finale is it doesn't end with a fleet being destroyed or nearly destroyed.
Or an AI doing it.
Yeah.
Who do you think
But if there's a life form on the probe...
What?
But if there's a life form on the probe, I guess it can't be AI.
No. Who do you think we'll get next? Ferengi? We'll see some Ferengi Lower Deckers talking about...
there is a Ferengi episode coming up. So maybe
who else would have a Lower Decks?
Well, what episodes have we got coming?
Oh, maybe some Bajoran Lower Deckers talking about I'll resist. Like
White.
God, the captain's being such a knob. Oh, we should rise up against him.
Yeah.
We should.
Next episode is Betazoids, and the episode after is Ferengi.
So yeah, well maybe we'll see like some Betazoids, just like
I sense that we're going to die.
Oh, I can sense nothing. Never mind.
Yeah,
like
they're all as good as Troy.
My telepathy is being blocked by something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sense it's going to shoot us. Bang.
Yes.
Just as the beam starts.
It's like powering up.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that to kick off with. But yeah, do you want to talk about what A plot first? I suppose it's the more interesting one.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to have a story about Tendi?
Yeah, it's nice. Like it's nice to get like sort of filled in on like some of Tendi's stuff, because like Tendi's obviously got like a lot of weird, like she's got a lot of like cultural. She's not like ashamed of her heritage, of her culture, but she definitely doesn't want to kind of, she doesn't want to be seen as though like her culture kind of exemplifies her. She is not.
Yeah.
Like
she doesn't want to be a stereotype, does she?
She doesn't want to be a stereotype of Ryan. And then you find out like one of the reasons why is because like she was actually raised to be like the stereotype Orion, like pirate queen.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's it's interesting. Yeah, it's yeah. I like it. I like how I also like how like Orion culture, because it's they're pirates. They have their pirate culture, and I like seeing just how much swashbuckling.
It's all over their culture. Yeah,
it's all over their culture. Like swashbuckling is a heavy. It's an important element of their heritage.
Yeah, like they and it's female-led society as well, so it's very matriarchal.
It's a matriarchy.
And the fella is led down the aisle when it comes to the marriage, and then it's I swung him over the on a pirate whatever. I swung him over the what you call
and
it?
Like but they're all going to like a sci-fi nightclub thing, and they're having weird pirate scorpion drinks.
Yeah,
love it.
It's like not Quantum of Solace, Skyfall all over again. Do you remember?
Yeah,
Bond having a scorpion, having a shot. It's that all over again, isn't it?
Classic pirate Caribbean nonsense. Let's go to a place and do something very dangerous, because we could all die tomorrow.
Yeah. And it kind of the episode as well references the Enterprise, Bound and all that triple of episodes in season 4, and we hear that Tendi has been saying to Starfleet that Orions don't have pheromones. That's just Mariner just thinks it's an excuse on why Archer got his ship taken over by 3 showgirls, which is amusing
which
enough.
Happened.
Yeah,
which did happen.
And it helps explain away why that isn't common knowledge as well. That stuff we learn in Enterprise isn't known in TOS and all that.
Because it was swept under the rug.
Yeah. As you would.
Yeah. Just all in all, like, I haven't got a lot of like critique or much to say. Just it's fun. It was a fun episode.
Yeah.
I love me. I love to buckle a swash.
Yep.
And there was plenty of that going on, and the fight scene with Tendi and her sister was fun. Her sister being like, why couldn't you be what the family wanted you to be? Because when you decided you didn't want to do it, I had to, which I
and
I'll
never live up to you.
Yeah. It's complex. Complex motivations on her part.
And I liked as well. So in the 2 fetch quests and then the end quest to get to the marriage, the episode's kind of about Tendi not wanting to be the stereotypical Orion and being Starfleet, and the end of the first fetch quest is her still being able to drink like an Orion.
Yeah.
The end of the second fetch quest is her having the Starfleet knowledge to, science the shit out of anti-pheromones. And then the third get to the marriage bit is a mix of them of being able to hotwire a car quickly because of being an Orion and dealing with a load of EPS conduits in the Federation. So it's a good, I'm still Orion, I'm still Starfleet, and through them I can do shit. So I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the thing, she isn't her heritage, but it's still a part of her. You know, each of us is a mixture of where we came from and where we are now, man.
Nurture, nature. It's all that.
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both, innit? It's a little bit of both. I liked how her dad is called Bert.
Yeah. And I think I put the subtitles on and it was apostrophe Ert.
Erica.
Yeah.
And another one was Niall.
Yeah. All fun. All fun.
What bit did you laugh at?
So I laughed more in the B plot, but in this, the Mariner getting stabbed. So she gets the blade thrown at her in the club, and then she gets the blade thrown at her in the sex dungeon. Yeah. And then Tendy's Erica pulls out a blade, and she goes, whoop. Nope. Yeah. Hides behind a console, and then the first whip of it bounces and hits her again.
And keeps getting in the same spot as well.
Yeah. I thought that was relatively amusing.
I liked the pheromone sex dungeon and how the females' pheromones are seen as kind of a drug. I'm just a moanhead, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, Niall calls himself a moanhead, doesn't he?
Yeah, man. Aren't we all, buddy? Aren't we all?
That's just life, boy. That's just life.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. I thought it's, in my opinion at least, it's one of the stronger A plots for what it does Trek-wise. Because, I tried to go, weirdly, what else happened this season? And forgot instantly.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I thought that, this episode kind of also forgone,
I think.
Forgonded. This episode forgonded the having the A plot and B plot have similar themes.
Yeah.
Because that was very, the theme for the A plot was very, nature versus nurture, like you said. But then the B plot wasn't about that at all.
No. So let's talk about the B then. So Rutherford, it's a good couple name for them. I don't know why they're so loved up when they live the same distance away from each other. In the bunk corridor, I suppose, and other people to talk to where they're just with each other constantly now. Little Boney, the plant, the bonsai tree.
Because they kept calling it a bonsai.
Yeah.
A bonsai.
Bonsai.
That annoyed me.
Yeah.
I feel like that maybe annoyed me a little bit more than it should have. But yeah, no, that's the thing. I've had it before where, I've lived with a lot of people, and sometimes there is a honeymoon period, and then, quite quickly after one thing they do, or one thing I do, starts getting on their nerves, and then everything else just unravels. But we didn't have the a Mark Twain holo novel to repair the relationship.
Yeah. Some great twin twains. That dog won't hunt. Yeah.
What I say, Mr. Clemens.
Yeah.
Mr.
You're
Clemens,
stubborn as a Senate mule.
Has been split in twain.
Yeah. I do like that, and I do like when they've been called up to the bridge and then they've gone, wow, let's use our knowledge. And you think maybe it'll work out. It's Star Trek. It's teaching us a lesson, and you think maybe it'll work out for this alien. And then I did do. So I laughed at the accents, obviously, with Boimler and Rutherford. And then I laughed at when the alien's shouting and like, whoa, you're supposed to put on a southern accent. And he's like, I'm from this place. That is a southern accent to me.
Yeah, I have a southern accent. Yeah, it reminded me of that line from Doctor Who when Billy Piper's like, if you're an alien, how come you sound like you're from up north? And he's just like, lots of planets have a north.
Yeah.
But not all.
Not all.
Yeah. I laughed when they were saying, like, after that alien eats their bonsai tree, and they're like, we worked so hard to look after that plant. Because I was like, why? But
yeah.
bonsais are not hard to do.
No, bonsais are very hard to do. To keep them going for years, bonsais are very hard. Like,
you just spray it and clip them.
Yeah, it's the clipping them and keeping them living for 100 years that's the hard bit. Bonsais.
But that's all you have to do.
Bonsais.
I had a bonsai living for like 4 years. I only don't have it now because I had to very quickly move out of that flat all of a sudden.
That's because you didn't have a Samuel Clements on the deck.
Because I didn't have a Samuel Clements to go and hash it out with the letting agent.
Yeah, but you see people who like breed bonsais, and it's like 100 years, and they're clipped, and it looks like a forest but miniature. It looks like someone's doing building miniatures for Star Wars, because they all take on when you crossbreed them or whatever. Crossbreed, whatever it is with plants. It looks like a forest, but scaled to like 1/50th its size. Cool. Cool bonsais. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I'm not living more than 50 years from now to make a bonsai forest that I'm never going to see. It's not even like that adage of, people plant seeds so the younger generation can sit under them. Who's going to sit under a bonsai tree?
What is this? A tree for ants?
For ants? Back to the bee then. I do like that the captain banned them from the Twain program, so now they are matching Mozarts rather than twin Twains. Yeah. Good.
What dorks?
Yeah.
Continuing the long tradition of Starfleet officers actually being massive nerds and total huge dorks from Pavel Chekhov to Wesley Crusher to who was a massive to Julian Bashir.
Yeah.
To
Kirk's a massive nerd.
Massive nerd to the whole cast of Discovery and like half of the characters in Strange New Worlds. Starfleet is mostly filled with dweebs.
With nerds. Standard nerds!
Yeah, bog standard nerds that have been given combat training.
Yeah. Message or point of the episode then? We kind of talked about one before, but yeah.
Yeah, you are, nature plus nurture equals person. And I guess for the B plot, like, riverboats are cool.
See,
talking with a
outrageous southern accent.
Talking with a southern gentleman's accent is fun.
Yeah. And it is. You cannot deny it. People out there, you cannot deny it.
I have
do it at
southern
home.
gentlemen in my family, and I'll tell you what, my Uncle Bo in Louisiana, he knew how to spin a yarn.
Yeah. So messages I got from the A plot. You are who you choose to be, considering Talin says it directly. And I missed from the A plot. Talin, when Tendi says, "You're not going to put this in your report, are you?" And Talin goes, "It would be unethical to, collect data without a subject's consent," and throws it away. Good scientific
methodology there.
Yeah.
Good scientific ethics.
And then for the B plot, I had, you can reach common ground by being willing to have a different point of view.
Yeah. That was the other thing for the B plot. Like, you can sometimes, like, you can work really hard on something for a long period of time. Like, you can maintain a bonsai, or you can try to multiple tacts to try and to try and do a diplomacy, to try and reach a common ground with someone. But sometimes the thing that you're working hard on is stupid and pointless, and you should give up.
You're so against bonsai trees. So against them.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's perfectly fine. But, like, sometimes it's stupid and it's not important. And maybe you should just feed the bonsai to the person. And maybe instead of trying to reach an accord with someone and try and talk it out, maybe that person just needs to eat something.
Yeah. It's very much, maybe foreign viewers and listeners won't get it, but the Snickers advert of, you're not yourself when you're hungry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're not. It's like, try a different text, like you say. Yeah. If that's not working, try something else. Yeah.
How about we journey on to the very short treks for this week then, which was an episode called Worst Contact, I believe.
Yeah, man. These short treks are getting stupider.
Yeah.
like I think it definitely says something about me that, like, I'm enjoying them more as they go by. So, like, this episode was like first contact with a race of aliens who just wipe bogeys on everything.
Yeah. They're like have no sort of or none that we see any sort of diplomacy about how they act or whatever.
No societal gripes about bodily fluids.
And terrible smells, because then it goes on to, and we're just going to microwave this fish.
Yeah, we're going to microwave.
We'll come onto the Enterprise and microwave fish for everyone.
So this series started with, like, an episode about plays on words and aphorisms, and then went on to, like, a deconstruction of slapstick humor.
Yeah.
And then just 5 minutes of bogey jokes.
Yeah. And it still has a lot of, like, the animated series, like, in-jokes in there.
Yes.
A lot. And picks up on, like...
They are
so
beautiful.
This is set on the Enterprise D, and it's Will Riker and Bev for the most part, as the people we know. And, it calls Will Bill at some point, which is a mistake from TNG Season 1 that they just keep riding through. Yeah. It had Saru in the wrong costume last week. So they are made by someone who, at least to some extent, knows Star Trek to a degree.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and knows
for me, these are just like...
is a bit naff.
Yeah. But for me, these are like one-note jokes extended out for 5 minutes. It's like the opposite of the quick humor that Lower Decks sometimes has. It's like real, slow, dumb humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. They are getting dumber and dumber, and like, there's been a lot of talk online of like, a lot of people were really excited for these short treks, and they're kind of disappointed. And I'm like, why? Why are you disappointed? Like, what were you expecting?
I mean, people could have been expecting the normal short treks, that are just a story but shorter. Yeah. So, like, The Trouble with Edward was an interesting one on Tribbles. There was the one about the attack on Mars from the Martian children point of view. They could have been expecting that. But the second the guy from, what's that short that you like, Too Many Cooks, was brought on, we should have lost that. The main thing I'm disappointed in is they didn't bring on Gazelle Automations or whatever it was, the people who animated Voyager, the animated series, and that. Yeah.
Well, maybe Gazelle Animations got an offer and they were like, no, I'm not.
Couldn't refuse.
I'm not getting paid fuck all to do animations in a really toxic environment. Thank you.
Yeah. I need to look up the company that's doing it, because I can be slightly libelous when I don't know, I'm not libelous. But for all we know, this was farmed out to China or something like that for very cheap animation work, because let's face it, it's not like they have to do hard animation.
Let's have a look. Yeah, I know, right?
It's pretty much what the original TAS was, and all those series that look the exact same, where, forget about one frame being used or doubled up or anything like that. It's one frame goes on for maybe 2 or 3 seconds in some cases. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they went to Gazelle and said, "Do you want to do this for no money?" Because if they didn't,
just like, "Do you want to do it for some money?" and we'll be stood over your shoulder, staring at you the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, Awesome Inc.
Awesome Inc. Headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. But where are your people, Awesome Inc.? Its clients include Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, Nick, Wielden and Kennedy, never heard of them, WB, and Marvel. So, doesn't look like it's a cheapo studio.
No.
I might have to bite my tongue. Yeah, but it hasn't won me over as of yet, anyway.
But there's time.
But there's time. There's always time. I know there's a Lower Deck episode coming up that's in the Lower Deck style, so we'll see about that one.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Either way,
like the rest of it's fine.
It's fine. It just puts a bad taste in my mouth as well when they put up the end title card and it's like, Star Trek, celebrating 50 years of animation on Paramount Plus. Go watch the animated series, or go watch Lower Decks.
What if they had like a first contact with some aliens and they were into like bogies and stuff?
Yeah. But why don't they mention Prodigy? It's, stupid. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just a dumb TV show anyway.
Yeah, man.
But yeah. But that might be it that I have to say this week. So yeah, it's time for the usual. So if we say like, subscribe, uptick,
comment,
listen, pass to a friend, comment, show your butler, put it on repeat. Yeah. Send even pictures of your butt.
Yeah, man, and I will send you back a critique.
Yeah. 5 out of 10, not enough crack. There we go.
Yeah, man. 8 out of 10, nice landscaping.
Yes, yeah. Is that shaved or nerd? What is it? Is it ner? I don't know. No. So yeah, and follows on the socials and all that. So it's just time for Ethan to say,
live long and prosper, you motherfuckers.
And peace and long life, double dumbasses.